Security Council condemns Houthi drone attack on a Dabba port in Hadramaut. Presidential Council stresses the need to mobilize efforts to end the Houthi coup. UNICEF says that malnutrition has plagued Yemeni children across the country. Welcome to Yemen Today TV. This is the English news with me, Roshan Fouad. The United Nations Security Council condemned in a statement the Houthi drone attack on the Yemeni port of Dabba. In the statement, the Council members said the Houthi attack is a serious threat to Yemen's peace process and stability and freedom of international community. The Council added that any security escalation would exacerbate the suffering of Yemenis, urging the Houthis to stop such attacks. On the same line, the Yemeni government welcomed the statement of the Security Council. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs indicated the urgent need to deter the terrorist Houthi militia backed by Iran. It stressed the need to support the Yemeni government's decision to include the Houthi militia among terrorist organizations in order to achieve peace. Head of the Presidential Leadership Council affirmed the need to mobilize all the efforts to end the Houthi coup. It is this coup which has pushed Yemen into an endless circle of violence and claimed hundreds of thousands of lives. This report gives more details.
Yemen's Presidential Leadership Council has stressed the need for mobilizing capabilities and efforts to end the Houthi coup and restore state institutions. Last Saturday, the Yemeni National Defense Council declared Houthis a terrorist group. Following the designation, the Yemeni government will take strict measures against people and entities that support Houthis. The Yemeni government is expected to order the sanctioning of senior Houthi leaders and their affiliates in the coming few days. Moreover, the government will likely make decisions in the telecommunications and transportation sectors to further tighten the noose on Houthis' funding channels. Analysts believe that the classification of Houthis as terrorist organization is in order to expand the legality of any military operation so that it takes an international and regional dimension. The Yemeni government can request international support with quality weapons, modern technologies, and even intelligence information within anti-terror agreements. They added that the decision is supposed to end any negotiation process with the Houthis and close the funding outlets for them through the organizations operating in their areas of control, in addition to preventing any international contact with them, especially since some countries were planning to open offices in Sana'a. The PLC, however, reassured Yemenis relief organizations and the private sector that humanitarian and commercial activity will receive special consideration and will be kept aside when implementing the procedures and mechanisms entailed by the National Defense Council's classification of Houthi militia as terrorists. Houthi attacks and violations through massive Arab and international condemnation, especially after the Iran-backed group waged an assault with explosive drone on oil terminals in Hadramaut and Shawak Governorate.
President Rashad Al-Alimi held a meeting with the Security and Military Committee. Al-Alimi listened to a report on the committee's work plan and its current and future tasks. The meeting touched on the military and security situation in the country and the ongoing development plan for the armed forces. Oman and Sweden stressed the need to continue international and regional efforts in order to reach a political solution to the conflict in Yemen. Omani Undersecretary of Foreign Affairs received the Swedish Pasha envoy to Yemen and reviewed efforts to reach a political solution to end the war and achieve security and stability in the region. Two explosions targeted two military vehicles in Shabwa Governorate, southeast of Yemen. Local sources said that the device exploded in a military supply vehicle belonging to the Shabwa Defense Forces, but no injuries were recorded. In another incident, an explosive device exploded while a military vehicle was passing. No further details were reported. 20 civilians, half of them children, were killed due to mines that were washed away by torrential rains in Hodeidah. The International Organization for Migration said the number of casualties was recorded during the last week of September and is the highest in a week since last May. UNICEF reported that more than 120,000 children were infected with severe acute malnutrition in Yemen during the first half of 2022. In a recent report, the organization said that it recorded more than 2 million children under the age of 5 suffering from malnutrition during the period from January to June 2022, of whom 121,527 children were identified as suffering from severe acute malnutrition. The 14th International Scientific Conference was launched between Taiz University and Sakhoy State Technical University. Researchers from 6 countries, including 2 Arab countries, participated in the conference. Taiz University participated with 21 research papers. The conference aims at establishing scientific cooperation in research about the development of academic programs for students and researchers.
بناء على اتفاق الموقع بين جامعة تعز وجامعة السوخي الحكومية.
According to the signed agreement between Taiz University and Public University in Belarus, Taiz University organized a conference between the two universities. We are here in the postgraduate center just to implement the conference via Zoom, hoping it's the start of expanding international relations with other universities and switching from the theoretical side to the practical one.
عدد البحوث المقدمة هذا العام 215 بحثاً.
The number of researchers represented this year is 250, and the number of researchers that Taiz participated in is 21, in engineering majors, information technology, and chemical sciences.
The Yemeni government announced its support for the Green Middle East Initiative, which aims to establish partnership at the regional level to confront the effects of climate change. During a ministerial meeting in the Saudi capital Riyadh with the participation of representatives of 20 countries, the Minister of Water and Environment stressed the importance of activating the initiative in order to restore vegetation cover in the Middle East, which is highly sensitive to climate change and affects economic activities. Coming next. A talented rural girl makes use of visual arts to make a living.
نزحنا من نزحة وانهم فوقنا هدموا بيوتنا. نزحت أنا وأنا بنتي بنت 7 أشهر اللي على زوجي. بعدها تمنا من نزح في نزح. وقبل الفريق معرض لنا. صيحنا زوجي وصار وداه من هنا. صار مخيم. وقبل الفريق اللي هنا وأنا وجيعي في الخيمة. وعانني البنات، ودني العلاج، ساعدني لما دخلني الشركة، طولي علاج فيتامينات. جاتنا الأمطار، دخلت السيول وأنا والدة، دخلت السيل ما دهنت بالسيل له وريحتي وأنا والدة، ما قد إلا يومين.
ولا عاد حتى قدرت أشيل عيالي، ما بلاتي يا بنت الصغيرة اللي ترضع شليتها، وإحنا والله نحن حالتنا حالها، وما عاد إلا شلونا من رفعونا لمكان عالي. ووصل اليوم جسنا لنا 3 أيام والله نحن في العرب، وجاونا الفريق حقهم حق الاستجابة، والله ما قصروا، قدموا لنا من كل شيء.
Welcome back. The Dutch government announced its intention to host the second Yemen International Forum in The Hague in June 2023. Dutch ambassador to Yemen Peter Derrick said the second edition of the forum will be based on the outcomes of the first one, which was held last June in the Swedish capital Stockholm. The International Organization of Migration said that African migrants face perilous journeys in search of work. They often travel across conflict front lines and face grave human rights violations, such as detention and exploitation, especially in Houthi-controlled areas. The following report has more details.
African migrants remain the victims of widespread violations committed by smugglers in Yemen. Sexual abuse against male and female migrants, including children, has also been reported at all transit points from Yemen's southern coast to its northern border, according to the International Organization for Migration. Every month, about 5,000 migrants arrive in Yemen. From July to September 2022, the IOM Displacement Tracking Matrix recorded over 15,700 migrants arriving to the shores of Yemen, bringing the total arrivals to more than 42,000. Among the tens of thousands of migrants arriving mainly from Ethiopia and Somalia, many continue to face severe protection risks, such as abduction, torture, detention, and exploitation. During the IOM reporting period, an increase in the number of migrants approaching response points in both Aden and Ma'rib for assistance was observed. The primary migration routes through the country remain under the grip of ruthless smugglers and traffickers. Smugglers maintain strong networks, making use of migrants' vulnerable situations, where extortion, forced or unpaid labor, and rape, among other forms of abuse, are utilized to keep migrants trapped in inhumane conditions. Smugglers maintain strong networks, making use of migrants' vulnerable situations, where extortion, forced or unpaid labor, and rape, among other forms of abuse, are utilized to keep migrants trapped in inhumane conditions. Physical abuse and detention upon arrival are executed for additional funds before they can be released and set free to continue their journeys. Often, photos of their abuse are sent to family members in their countries of origin to provoke them to send money to secure their release.
The Saudi Programme for Development and Reconstruction in Yemen announced the arrival of the first batches of the new oil derivatives grant. The program said the first batch will allow operation of 70 power stations in Yemen. More on this is within the following report.
The first installment of the $200 million Saudi oil derivatives grant has reached Aden on Wednesday. The contribution is an extension of Saudi Arabia's ongoing assistance to the Yemeni people, as directed by King Salman and Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. Yemenis expect the funding to increase power generation in all governorates. According to Saudi and Yemeni sources, the first batch includes 45,000 metric tons of diesel and 30,000 metric tons of mazout, which will be used to power 70 electrical units. Yemeni Minister of Electricity and Energy Yeslam bin Yamin expressed gratitude and appreciation to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for the support it has provided. He emphasized that the grant would help keep power plants running and find ways to address problems in the electrical industry. We, in coordination with all stakeholders and with the support of the Saudi Development and Reconstruction Program for Yemen, seek to benefit from the grant in rehabilitating and increasing the efficiency of the electric system across Yemeni governorates. Yeslam Ben Yamin, said. Meanwhile, Yemeni Minister of Planning and International Cooperation emphasized that the grant provides massive support to the Yemeni people and that it will contribute to alleviating future power outages which affect citizens and state revenues. The minister stated that this grant is an extension of development projects and initiatives by Saudi Arabia, where the total value of previous grants amounts to $4.2 billion. He revealed that the kingdom made significant contributions to Yemen, including the development of the health sector through the project to operate and manage the Aden Public Hospital, Aden International Airport, and Al Ghaida Airport in Mahra Governorate, as well as projects to establish model schools and other development projects. The new oil derivatives payment is a confirmation of Riyadh's will to promote security, stability, and development for the Yemeni people, and it represents a $4.2 billion extension of earlier donations.
An international report accused the Houthi rebels of granting import and export licenses in foreign currencies to their members only. They accused the militia of giving some companies the opportunity to control the local market. German reports confirmed that doing business in Houthi areas has become more difficult than ever. Art becomes the only thing that revives the sense of humanity in a country surrounded by the war. A country girl develops her artistic talents and dreams to be a businesswoman. The following report gives more details.
A countryside woman, Kafa Al-Qudsi, has had a flair for plastic painting and modeling since she was a child. Due to her talents, Kafa was able to start a small business and support herself by selling her artwork. Kafa models her sculptures to represent various Yemeni heritage landmarks, such as the Musa Mosque, the tallest minaret in Sana'a, Dar al-Hajar, and the old houses of Sana'a.
طبعا بدأت اكتشفت الفن منذ الصغر.
I've been interested in art since I was a child. I started making small sculptures out of mud, and when my interest developed, I turned a small corner of my home into an art studio. But now, with the rise of currency, it became very difficult to buy the necessary materials and find the right colors.
She has faced numerous hurdles in her journey to expand her business, such as the high cost of raw materials and of securing a booth at the marketplace to display her products. Her pricing was low when she first started out, but now she feels confident enough to raise her prices to support her family. Her model sculptures are currently priced at 3,000 Yemeni riyals.
بدأت النقش تقريبا.
I started drawing when I was very young. I used to draw on school notebooks and walls, and I would sell my art for modest prices, like 500 and 300 Yemeni riyals. I was just happy to be sharing my personal creations.
Kafa has signed up for art competitions and won second place in Islamic decorative painting. Her interests are varied and she has taken courses in media communications, body language, and fine arts, and started teaching some of her own. Kafa is also talented in the art of henna tattooing and has dedicated her talents to inking brides in intricate floral patterns. Her skills also extend to the arts of origami, and she is able to fold beautiful budget-friendly bouquets out of paper, which graduates and brides alike seem to love.
Here is a reminder of the main headlines. Security Council condemns Houthi drone attack on Dabba port in Hadramaut. Presidential Council stresses the need to mobilize efforts to end the Houthi coup. UNICEF says that malnutrition has plagued Yemeni children across the country. This is the end of the news. It was Roshan Fouad. Thank you for watching.